Hello and welcome. In this episode, I'm looking at the importance of tapering before a race and how to master this crucial phase of your training. Keep watching to find out if you're making or breaking your race in the final build-up. Join me during my taper week as I delve into some top tips for maximising your performance. Don't forget to like and subscribe for some more tips on triathlon training and racing. Tapering is just a reduction in your training load, which allows your body to recover and peak for your race. During a heavy training block, you're continuously training on tired muscles. This accumulates fatigue, causes muscle damage, and depletes your glycogen stores. Tapering allows your body to adapt and rebound to a higher level of fitness. The research shows that you can get a 2 to 3% increase in your performance by tapering. Everyone's different in how long they take to recover and what they need to do to sharpen up for race day. It's a really delicate balance. Here are my top 6 do's and don'ts for taper week. Don't panic train. It can be really hard to rein back that training for fear of losing your fitness, but with 1 week to go, you can't gain any fitness and you've got everything to lose. You're just going to cause fatigue. Number 2, don't do too little though. You lose the training adaptations really quickly without the stimulus, and you need to maintain that muscle memory. So whatever you do, don't sit on the sofa all week with your feet up. Number 3 common mistake is people reducing the intensity and the frequency. Don't do this. If you normally train 6 days a week, keep training 6 days a week, otherwise you're going to lose that sharpness and that muscle memory. Moving on to 4, what we are going to do though is reduce the volume of training by 40 to 60%. You're going to do shorter sessions and make sure that you've got longer recovery periods in them. Number 5, try and keep off your feet the day before the race. It's really tempting to go walking around the expo for hours and hours, but that's just going to tire you out. Go home, put your feet up, chill out. Lastly, number 6, maximise your sleep. Swap to your race time several days out from the event. Set your alarm for 6 AM so that you're awake nice and early, and then go to bed nice and early too. Accept that the night before your race is going to be a poor night's sleep. It's the same for everybody. What the research shows is it's your sleep on the penultimate night that's what really matters, so make this one a really good quality one. Be ready to accept that you're going to feel rubbish during taper week. You're going to feel sluggish and your legs are going to feel heavy as your body goes into recovery mode. Be ready for twinges and niggles to appear all over the place. You're going to have a reduction in your endorphins, which are a natural painkiller, as you reduce down your volume. You're also going to micro-analyse everything in the build-up to the race and be hypersensitive. Don't worry, come race day, these niggles won't be there. You're also going to feel super fidgety. You're going to have loads of energy because you're not training as much and the nerves are going to kick in. I find the best way to deal with it is to keep active. Keep the frequency going but reduce your volume. Add in some walks to get rid of a bit of extra energy too. Just accept it. You're going to feel awful, but just trust the process. It does work, I promise. Use the time to mentally prepare for the race. Make sure that you've had a really good read through of the race routes, looking out for how many laps you're doing in the different disciplines. Look at the logistics for race day weekend. Or you need to be registering and racking your bike the day before, or do you need to be doing that on the morning of the race? Look at your race day timings. So look at what time you're setting off on your swim, and then you can work backwards into what your to the start time is, what time you need to get into transition in the morning to set your kit up, what time you're having your last food, what time you're then having to sort of get up and leave the house. Make sure that you've got a nutrition and a race plan so you know for what speeds or powers you're aiming for and when exactly you're going to be taking your nutrition on board. Make sure that all your gear is clean and in good working order, particularly making sure that your bike is sorted. I find it's useful to keep occupied during this time, so whatever you enjoy doing, might be reading, going to the cinema, going out for some meals. Personally, I find I tend to neglect my friends and family in the build up to races, so this is a really nice time to spend some time with them. Lastly, don't panic train. Resist that urge, trust the process, it will get you there in peak performance. My taper for a sprint triathlon starts 8 days before. Everybody's a little bit different. It depends on what distance you're doing. If you're doing a sprint race, I'd say you only need to do 7 to 8 days. If you're doing an Olympic distance, I'd give it 10 days. If you're doing a half or a full Ironman, you definitely want a 14-day taper period. You don't need to taper down on all 3 sports at the same time. I always go down first on the running because that's the hardest, causes the most muscle damage. Then I come down on the cycling. The swimming, I feel I can do fairly hard till pretty close up till the event. My taper started yesterday at day 8, so I did my weights. That's the last time I want to be doing any heavy lifting because that definitely causes muscle damage. Today is Sunday, 7 days from my race. I'm going to do a 5-kilometre run. So I'm already starting to reduce the duration of it, but I'm going to keep some of the intensity in to keep my race sharpness and muscle memory. So I'm going to do 4x400 metre hard efforts, but I'm going to do plenty of recovery in between, probably like 3 minutes. Have a steady warm up and a cool down afterwards. I'm off out for a family walk in the Peak District today. Mark wants to leave by 8 AM, so I need to get on and get this run completed. Glorious morning for it. Ugh. Frog. Wasn't expecting that this morning. Six days out from a race, I'm going to do my last hard swim set. I feel I can do hard swimming till fairly close to the event. I am going to reduce it by 500 metres down to about 1800 metres. I'm going to do 2 lots of 400 almost at race pace, and then a couple of 200 metres hard, just a warm up and a cool down. 5 days from race day, I'm going to do a 10-mile threshold bike ride with some transition practice. Whatever you do, don't turn your last bike threshold session into a brick session 5 days before your race. I've just done an all-out 1 mile at the end of my bike. On the plus side, I did do it in 8 minutes 13, which is the fastest mile I've run in a long time. Don't do it, it really isn't clever. Four days out from race day, I'm going to do my last run. It's going to be really nice and easy, 5-kilometre run, just with 6 lots of 15-second strides, just to get the leg pace turning over a little bit. 3 days out, I'm going to do my last swim session. I'm going to do 1500 metres with 1 400 metre hard effort and a couple of 200 metre hard efforts. 2 days out, I'm going to do my last bike session. This is going to be a super easy, just turning the legs over 20 to 30 minutes on Zwift. On the last day before the race, I normally do just a 30-minute stroll just to stretch the legs out and get rid of a bit of that adrenaline. If you're going to a big race, you might find that you can do this by going down to register and rack your bike, but remember, don't spend all day walking around the expo and getting tired. Most of all, enjoy your race, good luck with it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for some further racing tips.